The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
How can the Jets crush the 2026 NFL Draft? We'll break that one down for you and much more. It's the Jake Asman Show. Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7's my guest. Let's hit it and get it started.
Wish you could have been a Jet, Fernando.
Let's see what happens.
What's your message to the Jet fans in New York?
Jets, Jets.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Hit the like button if you're not subscribed yet. Right over there, you can click the subscribe button. We are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Reminder, join the Patreon if you haven't already. That allows you to get access to our private Discord channel. You get bonus shows every month, access to exclusive events before the general public, 20% off every item in the merch store year-round, and a whole lot more. Just go to patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Huge shout out to Australian Jet fan, Brian Holloway, Doc Jet fan, Mike Babick, Jesse Smith for being our most recent Patreon subscribers. With that, we say hello to a good friend of the program. You watch him all the time on his channel, Jets Talk 24/7. He's part of the Talkin' Jets crew every Tuesday. It's our guy, Ryan, from Jets Talk 24/7. Hello, Ryan.
Hey, what's up, Jake? Thanks for having me on.
I'm pumped to get you on. You're a big draft nut like I am. How we feeling about the state of the Jets? First wave, second wave of free agency pretty much has been solidified, and now all eyes will be on pick 2, pick 16, pick 33, and pick 44 coming up in just over 30 days from right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling surprisingly good, actually. Believe it or not. Sorry, end of the season was feeling kind of gloomy, getting rid of a lot of coaches. My whole mindset was like, Glenn is going to be a lame duck coach. Who is he really going to get in as far as, coaching staff goes? And I feel like I actually am more optimistic about the assistants that he brought in than I was expecting to be. I really like linebackers coach, defensive line coach, like Reich coming in here with Musgrave and those guys. So I'm more optimistic on the coaching front. And then going into free agency, my whole mindset was, all right, don't overspend on guys that may not want to be here or, don't pay the jet tax, if you will. And I feel like Muji went into free agency. Kicked it off with the Minkah Fitzpatrick trade, which I thought was a great move. I like the idea of extending him for a little bit so you get him on a little bit lower average per year salary. I thought the franchise tag for Breece Hall was really good. I thought that made a lot of sense. I think there's probably a contract coming down the pipeline for him. And then from a standpoint of the guys we brought in, we didn't overspend. Breece Hall is still our highest paid free agent that we extended a contract to. So I like that aspect of things. I think it gives us a lot of financial flexibility. I think it gives us a ton of flexibility in the draft. Obviously, the Jermaine Johnson trade I think tips our hand a little bit about what we're going to be doing at number 2. And then there's still obviously the glaring hole at wide receiver 2. Will they add anyone in free agency? I don't want to overspend necessarily, but that's probably going to be a major question we're going to answer on day 1 or day 2 of the draft.
It feels like they filled all the needs besides backup quarterback, which they could be patient on. They could simply wait till after the draft and say, hey, we'll just kind of evaluate, did we take Ty Simpson at 16 or not? It, to me, could be the big discussion, or did he fall to 33 and we took him there? And then to your point on receiver, I want them to add a legit veteran because I don't want them to make the mistake they made last year where they just didn't have enough. And then Garrett Wilson, unfortunately, gets hurt. And it was just glaring what they were working with in that wide receiver room.
Yeah, it's definitely a needed position. You don't feel super comfortable, Mechie left in free agency. Is anyone else beyond that really viable at wide receiver? I don't really think so. If you can get someone in this third wave, or maybe I think the comp formula shakes out a little differently if you go into just beyond the draft. So that might be an aspect they look into. You got to address it. You can't just have Garrett Wilson go down and now you're kind of left holding the bag at that point. You brought up the backup quarterback situation, and I think it's fascinating because I think it definitely has tipped our hand as to what we're doing. I think the plan was to wait till after the draft to conceal a little bit more of the quarterback mystery. I think if they were to have made a trade or sign someone that's more of a mentor type quarterback, someone like maybe Andy Dalton was one that we had discussed a lot as someone that could replicate maybe what the Giants quarterback room was last year, where you have your starter in Geno Smith, a la Russell Wilson. Then you have Jameis Winston, maybe like an Andy Dalton, kind of grooming a young quarterback that could be Ty Simpson. Now I get the feeling that maybe they're going to pivot more towards the highly volatile potential franchise guy that, you know, someone like a Will Levis, like you don't have a whole lot of confidence in. High volatility, could be good, could, you know, bottom out and really get you a high pick next year. And then I think that tips your hand because you wouldn't have that style backup quarterback in here if you're going to draft a quarterback high. So I get the feeling they're probably looking towards Allar or Taylor Green or Nussmeier, someone in that realm of quarterback as opposed to Simpson. Now, if Simpson falls to 33, I think they should make that selection at that point, but I don't think it's happening in round one.
Where's the team for Simpson if it's not the Jets at 16? That's what I struggle with. I don't think it's Pittsburgh. I don't think it's the Rams. I don't think it will be Miami at 11. It's either a team trading back in to the end of the first round for them to maybe get in front of the Jets at 33. Could be the Jets just doing it themselves. I suppose the Browns with their 2 first-round picks, their second one, maybe Simpson's in play for them. But I do think there's at least a better than 50-50 shot. Simpson's there at 33, and the Jets have to decide, do they want to pull the trigger or not?
Yeah, I get that sense too. I think the one team that we were kind of maybe competing with for Simpson, if you want to call it that, is Arizona. They're sitting 1 pick behind us in the second round. When I kind of look at the back end of the first teams that could trade with either the Jets or Arizona, I'm kind of looking at San Francisco, obviously the ties to that regime in San Fran. You look at the Rams, maybe potentially in the back half, or no, they gave away their first round pick. They traded their first round pick. So that eliminates that conversation. The Jets, you trade partner feasibly would have been the Broncos with Muji's connection there, but that pick goes to the Waddle trade. So I think both teams are probably going to sit there, and I think he goes either 33 or 34 to the Jets or Cardinals, unless the Cardinals leapfrog the Jets. I just don't know if we're going to give up assets to go into the first to get someone that we're, you know, if we weren't going to take him at 16, I feel like you're probably not going to trade assets to go back up into the first to get him.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7 is my guest. We're going to go inside an ideal Jets draft in a moment, but I want to announce to people who are just tuning in that at the end of the stream today, we're raffling away 3 Jets signed items, and this is the final stream that you could enter. That's right. Enter during the show by gifting a membership or sending in a $10 super chat to earn 2 raffle entries. Curtis Martin signed helmet, end of the show. Garrett Wilson signed jersey, end of the show. Vinny Testaverde signed jersey, end of the show. Gift the membership or super chat for your chance to win. And for this show only, you enter raffle 65. You're also entered in next week's raffle 66. Top prize, signed Joe Namath helmet. Prize 2, signed Darrelle Revis helmet. Prize 3, signed Breece Hall helmet. Those are the top 3 prizes in next week's raffle. So you enter today, you are not only in the raffle at the end of the stream, but next week's weekly raffle as well. In terms of pick 2, do you think it's going to be Arvell Reese at this point, or are you open to David Bailey or Sonny Styles still being a possibility for the Jets?
So I think it's more than likely going to be Arvell Reese. I put money down on him being the number 1 overall pick back in October when the Titans still had the first pick. But now that, you know, we're looking for the top non-quarterback, I think that's probably the position. The moves we made in free agency, I don't think anything necessarily indicates what you're leaning towards at that selection. But I think the trading of Jermaine Johnson, there's clearly a need at edge rusher. I think the Jets could even double dip at some point in this draft at edge. And Arvell Reese is just such an elite chip that you could play with. Whether he's I think his floor is like a really, really good off-ball linebacker with a crazy high potential of him potentially like being defensive player of the year and an elite edge rusher and whatnot. So I like the pick. I think that would be my selection. I'm not as crazy on Bailey. I understand why fans want someone that might be a little more specialized, has a little more production in college. I don't think I would go receiver at 2 at all. Styles is the only other player that I'd really consider. Now, if you're asking me what I kind of want to happen at 2. If we're stuck with the pick, I think it's Arvell Reese. If there's an opportunity maybe to trade out of 2 to go to 4, like if there's some conversations about Love possibly getting selected in front of the Titans if they want him, I would be willing to move down and possibly forego Arvell Reese and then draft Sonny Styles at number 4. But I think barring a trade down, the pick is going to be Arvell.
Ladies and gentlemen, a 10 spot of gifted memberships has come through from Cisco Lopez. Cisco, you won a signed Sack Exchange jersey on the show yesterday. I plan to send that out later today with the other raffle winner prizes. Cisco, you're in the raffle for 10. Hit the O'Leary wedding chant. Gotta love a Jet chant at the Matt O'Leary wedding, where Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7 is on the right-hand side at that wedding table.
Oh man, you and I broke it down on the dance floor. Like the photographer at the wedding was just like snapping pictures of us left and right. So it was absolutely a blast.
That was a hell of a night, man. It really was. A lot of
You know what's funny is my girls, that Rattlinbog song that we all did, like, when they went from table to table and we were all drinking. My girls love that song. Like, we literally play it on loop on the way to daycare in the morning. Like,
really,
it's bizarre. It's the funniest thing in the world.
I love that. That's awesome. Shout out to Black Gypsy, who gifted a channel membership. Black Gypsy in the Asmaniac raffle for 1. Super chat from Andrew C, who says, may I announce that listener Mike D's Nuts joined me on PlayStation 5, a welcome addition. Well, Andrew C, I'm happy for you. And for Mike D's Nuts. The Big Lubinsky says, Jets Talk 24/7 was the first Jets channel I started watching. Good guy.
I like that guy. I like that Big Lubinsky.
The Big Lubinsky. What a guy. Brian Morales checking into our guy, Chef Brian. He's in the raffle for 2. He says, what's up, guys? I'd rather load up on more weapons for Gino with 16. Great to see Ryan on the show. Great dude and supported my business when I just opened.
Oh, yeah. Brian's got a really good barbecue joint right near my work. I got to stop in. I've been lazy. I've been packing food to work, but I'll stop in soon, brother.
Love it, Brian. Thanks for the support. And I do agree with him as far as pick 16. We're going to get into that. If we're kind of tiering my preferred options at 16, we already talked about the need at receiver. 16, if one of the big 3's in play, I'm all about it. I am a little weary of Jordan Tyson's injury situation, so that needs to be cleared by the Jets doctors before you could do anything. But I know there's some buzz about Omar Cooper going as high as 16 now, Mekhi Lemon falling there. I don't think Tate makes it, but he's in the conversation. What are your thoughts on a receiver at 16?
Yeah, receiver is definitely my first option. I saw an interesting tweet by U Stadium that kind of highlighted the stats against ranked opponents for the big 3 wide receivers. And there's obviously more context involved than just that. There's, matchups and, who was injured, who wasn't. And Tate kind of gets a little bit of an asterisk because he's kind of wide receiver 2 on that team. But Tyson performed the best of all the receivers against ranked opponents. But like you mentioned, the injury concern is really the big thing. And he's not going to be running in his pro day now, which is definitely concerning as well. If the medicals check out for him, I think Tyson is the best of the receivers. Lemon is probably the one most Jet fans want to gravitate towards, if I had to guess. But I think any of the 3 would be a good solution there. Now, the big issue is like the Dolphins traded right. Waddle. So now they're probably going to go receiver at the top of the draft. The Rams made a trade. They're probably going to go receiver at the top of the draft. So if you were kind of in an uneasy situation heading into 16 before those trades, you got to think there's probably less likelihood that any of the 3 are there at 16 this time around.
100%. It's just, it comes down to, the Jets board. If, like, let's say the big 3 receivers are off the board and then we're having the conversation, do you take Omar Cooper Jr. if he's the next receiver on your board, 4th wide receiver versus, hey, maybe you get the 2nd offensive lineman off the board, or maybe they have a higher grade on Vega Ione from Penn State than any of the potential tackles, and just position versatility and position value why he fell. It's like number 1 lineman versus 4th best receiver. What do you value more? Are you drafting for need, or are you truly going BPA? These are all part of the conversations Muji's having in that draft room.
Yeah, I think it's a weird balance, right? Like, I don't ideally want to spend a first on a offensive lineman. We have a lot of assets that we've kind of poured into that offensive line already, but I also don't want to reach on a position if the receivers are all comparable. Like, I do like wide receiver in the 2nd round, honestly. I think after the top 3, there might be like a little mix of guys that you kind of like, but there's a lot of receivers that are going to be taken between pick 16 and pick 44. So do you like one of those guys? Do you want to go with the offensive lineman? I get the feeling that Vega's probably going to go to Baltimore, just a few picks in front of us, which then throws maybe another wrench into it. Because then are you maybe reaching more on an offensive lineman? You just signed the guy from the Raiders for a 2-year contract. So you kind of have your Band-Aid in place. You don't have to kind of reach for that, which then makes me sort of pivot back to like the weapon side of things. Like I want to, this whole draft to me and offseason in general is what can you do to build the most nurturing environment for a young quarterback, whether that's Geno this year or a quarterback that we drafted the mid rounds, or, setting up for 2027 draft and going high quarterback then.
I saw this graphic on Jets Reddit, and look, not the biggest fan of Reddit because they slam me in basically every comment. But while I was on there, because someone sent me the thread, I did see this post, and I'm like, you know what? Let me at least get some content out of Jets Reddit. Plan A, wide receiver, and they mentioned Lemon or Tyson. This is for pick 16 for the Jets. Plan B, interior O-line, Ione, and then Fano. Fano's a tackle, but he might be like a Will Campbell hybrid where he might be better inside than outside. So if that's the case, he could be in play if he falls. And then plan C, I don't know if we spent a ton of time talking about this as a fan base. Plan C could very well be a defensive back. Jermod McCoy, one of the top corners, could be there. Would the Jets take another corner after the investments they've made in that position group? And then Dylan Thieneman, the safety, from Oregon. He's a name to watch that could go as high as 16. Your thoughts on plan A, plan B, plan C? Is this accurate? How do you think the Jets kind of tier their options at 16?
Yeah, this is kind of how I've been like mocking it out in my head. I'm a little flip-floppy on the back end, whether it's corner or safety. I think Thieneman could go as the first safety. I think that degenerative ACL could bump Downs a little further. Like it wouldn't shock me if Downs winds up falling to 16, in which case he would probably be my selection.
I hope he does. I'd take him in 2 seconds because I've heard people being like, yeah, we're not concerned about that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the gap between him and Thieneman is wildly drastic. So I could conceivably see a team, take the Oregon safety first. I would probably throw in Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon, as another potential option. I know he took Mason Taylor like top of the second round last year, but you kind of finish off your tight end room then if you have Sadiq, Taylor, and Ruckert. You're feeling pretty good about those weapons, and then you probably address wide receiver in the second round. But corner, I wasn't hoping to spend a high pick on corner this year. That's probably, I'd like to see a little bit more AZ Thomas. We invested a good amount in Stevens. It's going to be a need, whether it's this year or a first round pick next year. So if the value presents itself, I'm happy either way on it.
I'd be surprised if they took a corner, but I guess we got to be open to it if they're truly going best player available. But you invested a third round pick in a corner. You spent big money on Stevens. I know that the contract's up after a year. They can get out of it as far as the guaranteed money. You traded for Brownlee. You signed a corner from the Bears in Deshaun Wright, who I think's got an upside and the chance to potentially start opposite Stevens. He'll compete with Azareye'h Thomas. I'd rather them honestly take the safety at 16 than another corner.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be the wise move there.
Fano, by the way, would be interesting because we've talked a lot about Ione, but Fano's a guy that could give you tackle and guard flexibility. I don't hate that at all. In fact, I think Dom C said that Fano could even play center if you needed him to.
Oh, I didn't know he played center at all. But yeah, I like the positional flexibility aspect. I think all 5 guys on the line, if they have like at least guard tackle flexibility, kind of like, Max Mitchell has, we got to see the value of it in AVT for all these years, Tittman center guard flexibility. The Vega pick would be interesting because then that puts him right next to his former left tackle in Fashanu. And then if there's any truth to the Jets sniffing around Drew Allar, then, maybe there's a comfort level in having your former offensive lineman already there. Garrett Wilson's already liking, tweets from Allar, going back to last season. So, I don't know. It's interesting to see what they could do. Fano, to me, I haven't done as much research on him just because I'm kind of not hoping that's not going to be the pick, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, I'm fascinated to see what they do and what direction could possibly come up here.
Peter Castro says, my real dream is a real coaching staff. I think that's how many feel about the Jets. You're never going to be sold until you actually see tangible results on the field from a coaching staff that needs to win to save their job.
Yeah, it's funny with the linebacker and defensive line coach hirings. I feel like there's some foresight there to maybe, if Tomlin comes back next year and he doesn't decide to just ride off into the sunset on his TV contracts and whatnot, I think one of our first round picks could be swung for Tomlin in that type of scenario. And you're just trying to set yourself up for like the best possible scenario moving forward, which is why I don't think Muji's going to handcuff himself to a particular quarterback. I've been saying all offseason, I really want to believe that Muji and Glenn are separated. They're not tied to the hip, because if they are, then Muji would be operating to save both their jobs. And that doesn't feel like what's happening. Like, it very much feels like Muji is dictating the future of the team and Glenn is just kind of along for the ride.
So do you buy the speculation that they're not, it's not Muji reporting the Glenn anymore, which I've been saying for months, just reading the body language, the end of the season presser, I thought was eye-opening on how each of them were acting. I don't know if Muji is calling the shots like Mike Francesa said a source told him, and then Connor Hughes came out and said, no, that's not true. My sources tell me nothing's changed. I think there's some smoke. I just don't know if it's gotten to the point where Muji's in front of Glenn, but I definitely think they're on way more equal footing than they were a year ago when the owner referred to Muji as Glenn's sidekick.
Yeah, I don't think there's any official thing that's been told to the team. Like, I think Muji maybe has been pulled aside by Woody and said, hey, operate this team as if you're here next year. You're not tied to Glenn. But I don't think structurally they'd be like, oh, no. Like, now everyone's going to report to Muji and like he's kind of the head guy. Like, I think you just kind of don't ruffle the feathers. And it's probably a little bit more of Muji like convincing Glenn of certain moves. Like, Geno to me doesn't strike me as like the best winning shot for Glenn to try and save his job. Like, that would have been a Kyler. It would have been a Tua. It would have been, Cousins or one of these other types of quarterbacks. But the spin zone that you've seen on Geno, I think, is appealing. I think the contract value is where Geno's value really came in. You're not investing a crazy ton of money at the quarterback position because you already got dead caps from both Fields and from Rodgers still. But I think the spin zone of, he's had 2 4,000-yard seasons in the last 4 years. I mean, I watched a lot of Raiders games last year. One of my close buddies is a Raider fan. Like, I'm hoping to buy that, but man, Geno looked awful last year. There's just no way I see him being like, bounce back to Seattle, but I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to see him ball out and see this team. Like, in my ideal situation is the Jets win 8-9 games with this miraculous turnaround. Geno's the bridge for whoever the next quarterback is. And we're using the Colts #1 overall pick on our quarterback.
100%. And like the other thing is too, like the Jets don't need to be god awful to get a quarterback. There'll be more than one option in the first round a year from now. They could stick and pick with the Colts pick, their own pick. Maybe, God forbid, there's an injury to Jordan Love or Dak Prescott, and that Cowboys/Packers pick's a lot higher than we think. I think you want to find out, do you have a coach? And the answer is no. I'd rather bottom out and then get a new coaching staff and pair them up with a quarterback. I think the worst thing for the Jets is like they win 6 games and we're just not sure.
Yeah, I don't want to have a situation where I don't know about Glenn. Like, I want to make a definitive answer on him, whether he's the guy at the end of the year and I feel comfortable moving forward with him, or we are resetting at least a portion of the coaching staff. It might be a version of Reich being head coach, or, bringing someone else in like a Tomlin that retains some of the coaching staff there. So it's not a total shifting of everything in the, in the organization. But I think there's also the conversation that we're not really having a whole lot of, because everyone's kind of looking at their young rookie quarterback, the cheap rookie quarterback contract. The Jets, after this year and a whole nother draft, like, there's a potential that this team's looking pretty good, and you might be able to attract either a veteran that gets cut or, trade for a young quarterback that's disgruntled. Like, it wouldn't shock me at all if Burrow waives his no trade clause for a team that's got like the potential of really adding some firepower this year. Or, any other quarterback, maybe Herbert becomes available or whatever. So I think there's more than one way to get your quarterback, whether that is a high draft pick or a veteran.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. If you missed it, end of the show, weekly raffle. This is your last chance to enter if you want to win a signed Vinny Testaverde jersey, signed Garrett Wilson jersey, and a signed Curtis Martin helmet. 2-for-1 special today. Enter raffle 65. You're in next week's raffle for a signed Breece helmet, signed Revis helmet, and a signed Broadway Joe Namath helmet. Super chat from Harris, who's in the raffle for 2. Love all the draft talk. These next 2 years could set us up for a long run if we hit on QB and other picks. I think we should use some later picks to move up into rounds 2 and 3. Hope I win. Good luck, Harris. And look, I agree. Muji, assuming he's here for both these drafts the next 2 years, Ryan, we're talking about 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years. But if you count second-round picks, 8 premium assets over the next 2 drafts. They got the 2 seconds this year. They have their own second again next year with the 3 ones. Like, this is how you turn your franchise around. And obviously the biggest thing is going to be one of these picks is going to be a quarterback, if not more than one of these picks, depending on their approach this year. If they don't get that right, you hate to say it, but a lot of the other stuff doesn't matter if they can't figure out quarterback long-term.
Yeah, I think they'll take their swing on quarterback this year. Not high. If Simpson falls to 33, I think that's where they might do it. But I think their maybe ideal plan is to go with a whether it's a 3rd round guy or a 4th round guy. I'd like to see them move a little bit around the board. Like if we could trade down from 2 to 4 and pick up a few day 2 picks, that would be awesome. I think 16, you're probably going to stick and pick at that spot. Pick 33 is our most valuable pick, though. I think the one night of teams kind of looking at who's still on the board, I think that's the pick that you look at and you say, okay, if we can slide down to pick 50 or pick 40 or whatever and scoop up an additional 3rd round pick, that's where you kind of add extra value. We've got the 2 4th round picks. I don't really want to trade up from any of the later round picks to get into the like 2 or 3. I'd rather move down and kind of accumulate value. The late round picks take swings on, guys that could be cut or, have injury history or, high upside type swings, later on in the draft. But yeah, I don't really want to move up much in this draft.
Andrew C says Sadiq at 16. My insiders are telling me, NFL insider, the dream, Andrew C. How would you feel about Kenyon Sadiq, tight end from Oregon at pick 16?
Yeah, I like it. I like the idea of weapon. If all the receivers are gone and maybe your top preference at guard, then I would really take a serious look at Sadiq. I don't think drafting Mason Taylor last year prohibits you from going 2 tight end sets. I mean, we saw it work in New England all those years ago with Gronk and Hernandez. I'm fine with it if that's the move they make.
It'd be fascinating if they took him, just because do you have the right coaching staff to utilize what Sadiq does?
Yeah, that's always the question. I feel like with us, like, are you going to be able to best utilize some of that more, I don't want to say niche talent, but like, are you going to maximize it? Like the same way we didn't maximize Fields' potential last year. Like, why were we not running a bunch of option, plays and whatnot? And I don't think it's likely to take Sadiq, but I wouldn't hate it.
Super chat from HXC Dude. He says, my 2 favorite streamers. Shout out to you, HX. Appreciate that. We definitely have to go Reese at 2 if we stay there. And I'm actually pretty high on Denzel Boston at 16. Need a tall, strong wide receiver to complement G5. Tayton Tyson won't be there. How do you feel about Denzel Boston? I've heard mixed things on him. When I watch him, I see all the talent. You wonder if 16 is maybe a little too high for him. That said, I mean, if you think he's going to be a dude, then take him and just be right. That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, I've had this weird kind of pivot on receiver. I feel like I've always wanted the different body style to complement Garrett, but I almost feel like if you could just get a big bodied guy later in the draft, like that could just be your jump ball guy. I'd rather someone that like separates, quickly. And I don't know if Boston is that type of receiver to get a lot of separation quickly. I like the frame. I like the size profile of him. I don't know if I want to take him at 16. 16 is just a valuable pick. It's just a matter of, like, I'd almost rather go BPA at 6 than reach for Boston at 6. Like, even if it's at a position of somewhat strength already.
Lou B checking in, fresh off an Asmaniac Madness victory. Speaking of Asmaniac Madness, be ready. We got the defending champion, Mr. Bonesy, in action this morning. Voting will open soon against Michael Levinson, a 14 seed, trying to pull off a shocker. Lou B writes in, if the Titans move up to 2, what is the package the Jets could receive? Well, Tennessee moving up 1 would surprise me. Let me just say that. If they were to move up, though, I think if you're the Jets, you're at least asking for their 2nd round pick. Tennessee's moving from 4 to 2. You got to get a legit premium asset if you're going to move back. I know it's only 2 spots, but if you look at the point value chart, that's a lot. I think you're talking about at least a 2nd round pick this year and maybe a 2nd or a 3rd the following year. That's just kind of in my mind what I would picture.
Yeah, I think that's where it would go. And I'd probably err on the side of like a 3rd next year and a second. I don't know. I guess what the 2nd is, so you want the more valuable one. But yeah, I agree. I think it's a 2 and a 3 is what it would need to get up to number 2. The point differential is about 800 points. which would be about a mid first round pick this year. I think there's probably value to be had for the Jets. Like, I don't think we want to necessarily, we obviously want to maximize our draft slot, but I think we'd be more inclined to trade down for multiple day 2 picks this year than necessarily try to extract the equivalent value worth of points.
I'd be interested in moving out though, if they could, because then you could take Styles at 4 and people would be like, all right, this is great.
Styles is my favorite player in this draft. Like, if you could find a way to get me Styles, I'm fine with Styles at 4, and I would absolutely go edge rusher at 16 if the receivers are gone at that point. I think there's a lot of edge rushers that are in that like 16 to 44 range that you could really like. And if you wanted to feel like you needed to double dip, it is what it is.
I just find it hard to believe the Jets are going to be able to move out of 2. I know people are like, oh, Jeremiah Love. I don't know if teams are going to be moving up for a running back.
I think 4 is as far back as I'd go. Like, if Arizona wanted to swing picks, I don't think they necessarily have to, because I don't think we're not going to take Love anyway. But if the Titans could move up, the 2 slots, I'm cool eating a little bit of value on that just to get that extra pick, extra day 2. Like, I mean, even if it's just a 2, honestly, like, I'd probably be down with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, voting for Asmaniac Madness is about to get underway. Let's set the stage for the greatest tournament in all of sports. Take a look at your screen, people. Here we go. We're making our way through each opening round in all 4 of our regions. We're about halfway home through the extraordinary region on the right-hand side. Yesterday was the Chuck Wagon with a win over Paul Faz, and Dave Brigga with a win over Tommy, OG Jet fan. You know what? I just realized I haven't updated the graphic here because we actually have made it a little further than that. Dave Brigga and Chuck Wagon, that's been set. Then yesterday, Lou B defeated JJ. So now it's Mr. Bonesy and Michael Levinson. The winner will take on Lou B. So it's 3 versus 14, and voting for Asmaniac Madness is officially underway.
Who's gonna be the best of the bunch? Asmaniac Madness. You get to pick the ones that make the show rock.
Vote, vote, vote. Your vote determines who advances to the next round. Appreciate everyone for their support. Hope everyone is enjoying the tournament. We'll get to your calls coming up. Let me ask you specifically about developmental quarterback. Let's say they don't take Ty. Do you have a favorite of someone that could be there day 2 or day 3 for the Jets?
I don't know. It depends on what the goal is, right? Like, if you're going day 2, day 3 developmental quarterback, are you looking for the franchise type guy, like level swing, or are you looking for someone that could be a staple on the team, maybe long-term as backup? Like, to me, Nussmeier is the ultimate, could be a franchise guy, was seen as potentially the number 1 overall pick this time last year for this draft class. His dad, offensive coordinator. I feel like there's something to that, like understanding the game. Alar's pedigree and his size and stature and everything is really appealing. I think Taylor Green is just an absolute weapon as far as like his athletic upside. But I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite. I think maybe if I were to rank it, Nussmeier and Alar would be the 2 guys I would want to see the Jets come away with. If they were going like later, like if we're talking like 6th round, like that's when I probably start having the conversation of Taylor Green and like Cole Payton and those types.
I think that's totally fair. Wild Chew has been a channel member for 21 months. Thanks for your free super chat, Wild Chew. Would y'all move up to 7 for Caleb Downs, getting 2 blue chip players, pick 66, 44, Breece for 7, 76, and another pick? We had a few running backs in our 30 visits. I wouldn't use Breece in any deal. I don't think that's necessary to move up. Giving up 16, 44, and Breece to move all the way up to 7, that feels like too much. Now, if you want to have the conversation, 16 and 44 to move up to 7, if the Jets are like, we just want 2 premium talents that we're coming away from this draft to set up our team, and then we got 3 ones next year to really add more stars, I could listen to that strategy, but I think I lean with, let's just get 4 damn good players with all our picks, or if we can move out of 16 or 33 and get a third, get an extra pick that way, or maybe get a pick in 27. We've seen teams trade 33, get a pick in that current draft, and then a third in the next draft, something like that. I'm more open to that because I don't think this team's going to be that good this year. So I rather stack up on assets and have more, kicks at the can in the draft if possible.
Yeah, I think for me, I wouldn't do it for downs. That wouldn't be my direction. If you wanted to talk me into, okay, hey, they're the number 7 team. I think it's Washington, maybe at 7. They're interested in moving out. The top 3 receivers are still on the board at that point, or even if it's Styles, those would be the guys I would go up for. And I would say 16 and 44 would be my kind of limit on that. Maybe you throw in a conditional pick or something like that, or some type of pick in 2027. I don't want to really move around too much with that 16 pick. Now, if you did do that, then it kind of leads a little bit more of a charge to trading out a number 33. Because maybe it is using 44 and 16 to go up, get your favorite prospect that's there, maybe jumping Miami to get the receiver you want. So that way you're not contending against that player for the next 5 years. And then you trade down from 33 and you recoup a second and a third. And then it doesn't really feel like you burnt any value necessarily. But I can't see us doing it for downs. I do think that Breece gets extended. I think there's going to be a really favorable contract. It's going to be something to the degree of like, okay, Breece gets $20 million in like signing bonus and salary for this year. And then it's going to look super attractive to trade him. Because I think the conversation you have with Breece is we want you here long-term. We want to convince you to be here long-term. But in the event that we can't convince you or things fall apart, we want you to be as valuable as possible at the trade deadline. So if that means us effectively buying a draft pick by paying Breece more to have that deal work, a little bit similar to like the Sauce deal. Jets wouldn't have gotten 2 first-round picks for Sauce if we didn't sign him to the contract. So I want to do the same type of thing with Breece where, we could have him long-term, but if we don't, we have that trade chip to recoup assets. I don't want to use him in a trade-up in a draft.
Love that take on that. I think that's really smart. NY in Atlanta joins the raffle. Let's go. He's in for one.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though.
NY, thank you. Got you down. This super chat is from HX. He's in the raffle for 2. He says, yeah, Boston might be a reach at 16, but it's also a super position of need. If you look at what holes we have, if you had to take a receiver early, they start flying away. What's the guy there? I think Omar Cooper Jr. feels like the new quote-unquote guy we got to really consider at 16.
I completely agree. I think that's the direction that it feels like the tide is kind of shifting towards. I think you also talk about Sadiq at that pick. I don't think you necessarily reach at receiver if you can get a player that is a receiver. Like I kind of view tight end as a de facto wide receiver 2 anyway on a lot of teams. So I don't think you have to, necessarily reach on Boston to achieve the same goal.
You made a great point. What if they traded up from 16 using pick 44? And then they traded out of 33, recouped what they gave up. That would be some real Mujiing of it all if Muji pulls that off.
He's been incredible as a trader. I mean, I really liked what Douglas did, but I think Muji's really been, adept at using his late round picks for premium. I shouldn't even say premium talent, but like guys that have been in the league that you're not going to burn a 6th round pick and have the same production that you're getting out of a Briggs or a Brownlee or even the Mechie and Mitchell add-ons, in the trades and whatnot. I think the swinging of picks for Geno and for Fitzpatrick are all like really savvy moves. I would have loved to see them do something like that for Rashawn Gary. They didn't ultimately make that move, but that same mindset of using later round assets to get guys that are just 1 year off their contract. I'm interested on your thoughts on wide receiver 2. Like, what if we achieved it by way of either trading for a Marvin Harrison Jr. or a Brian Thomas Jr. and using like, say, pick 33 or 44 on that? You're getting a guy, both of them would have their 5th-year options still left on their deals. So you get 3 years of contracts as opposed to maybe drafting a receiver in the 2nd round where you get 4 years of contract. What are your thoughts on using the 2nd round pick for a guy that's already in the NFL?
I love it. I just would not give more than probably the 44th pick of round 2 for Harrison or for BTJ. Like I want to keep 33 and I'd rather just take a chance at getting my receiver at 16 or 33 than trade that level of asset.
I completely agree. And I actually think it's not a trade I would make until I see who's on the board at 33. Like if there's a receiver you don't love, then I'd be more inclined to move 33. But I wouldn't want to do it like preemptively now. And then we come to like draft day and all of a sudden we see, some unicorn or whatever fall out of the 1st round. You're like, I can't believe he made it to the 2nd round. And now you shot yourself in the foot and you've given it away.
What that is. Incredibly well said. Andrew C says, can I order shoes online from Bonesy? I was checking his website online. We can ask the defending champ when he calls in, but let's get to your calls right now before we say goodbye to Ryan. I mentioned it as Maniac Madness going on right now. Michael Levinson, Mr. Bonesy going at it, and Michael Levinson will be in the leadoff spot today.
As Maniac Madness is underway, make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
Michael, I appreciate you calling in, and man, tough draw having to go up against the champ.
Listen, just a quick question. Ryan, your show was before Jake's, right?
Yeah, I started mine in 2018.
Okay, so your show
2018,
24/7 was the first YouTube show that I watched, and the first one that I watched during the first round of the draft. And your reaction with the Sauce Gardner pick when Green Bean and Matt were going ballistic was the funniest thing.
I was so bummed. That was
Go ahead.
honestly, like, that was the player that I landed on prior to the draft. Like, the Jets made the Styles pick. That would be my same reaction. Like, I love the player. I think it's just a home run statement pick. Like, you want to set the tone for the type of player you want. Styles is 100% it for me in this draft. And Sauce was that for me in that draft.
Well, yeah, and I got to tell you, Jake, I was in the gym this morning listening to yesterday's broadcast with Faria. And when Lou B called in and said, do I play Mr. Bonesy? And you said, well, he has to beat Michael Levinson. I had no idea I was in it. I tell you.
Of course you're in it. You're an outstanding caller, Michael.
I mean, I feel honored. Let me tell you, Jake, I feel honored. But, I work a lot when you're live. But my goal this year is to call it and raise my game for the next year. So here's a couple of thoughts. Pick 33. And everyone says after the first round, that's when teams are saying, oh, my God, this player, I can't believe he made it out of the first round. If it's Ty Simpson, if it's a certain receiver. I mean, that pick could get you a haul. Agreed?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I think it's our most valuable pick.
Now, I wouldn't trade 33. I would trade 44 for, like, say, Thomas Jr. or something. I agree with you, Jake. You can't do that. I think trading at a number 2, okay, if we can go to 4, we have a chance of getting one of the 3 players that we want and get a load of picks. I agree with you. Everything you guys are saying, exactly what I have written down on my paper. It's just so funny. But let me ask you a question. 16, Simpson's there. Glenn wants Simpson. Muji doesn't. Who has the final decision?
Muji.
Because I'll tell you, I agree with you, Ryan. I think Woody hears all the compliments that Mooj is getting, and I think he went to Mooj and says, "You're here." I really think that.
Too many people have said it. Like, for people who are like, oh, Francesa doesn't know anything. Okay, well, Rich Samiti came on my show and said Muji's no sidekick anymore.
Yeah. But
implying that there's been a shift of some sort. Maybe he's not above Glenn, but they're on way more equal footing than people want to admit.
Yeah, but I have to say, in the Madness, give it a best shot. But like, that's like Houston losing to Idaho, or Iowa State losing to Tennessee State. I mean, it's a hard thing, but I'm glad I'm in it. Ryan, I still watch you guys, and the way you guys have branched out to different things. I think, Jake, Tuesday you have a thing with Samini and Tierney, right? Starting Tuesday.
Yeah, thankfully we're done by 8 because we don't want to compete with Talking Jets. I mean, they'll smoke us.
Yeah. So one other thing, Jake, just real quick. I can't get the Discord to link to, like, I can't talk on it anymore.
So go back on Patreon, Michael, and you have to it's a new setting on Patreon and Discord. You have to just basically reconnect it, resync it up. Since you're a Patreon member, just follow the instructions on the dashboard and you'll see how to link to the Discord.
But I tried that. Do I have to be on a computer or can I do it on my iPad?
Yeah, I think you got to be on a computer to do it. I think that's probably the issue.
Okay, listen, guys, thank you for taking my call. Jake, I'm going to call in more. And just so you know, I'm Prison Mike. I had to buy a lot of phone time to stay online. Okay, that's what my picture is on the thing. But it's great talking to you guys. Have a great weekend.
Mike, you're a great caller, man. Appreciate you making the call. Tough draw to go up against the defending champ, who's a 3 seed in this year's tournament. Here's the updated graphic, by the way, folks. Lou B with the win yesterday, so it will be either Mr. Bonesy or Michael Levinson in that one. We got a couple of matchups left. in the extraordinary region. And then we get to the Gorman region, the grown-ass man region. It will be Gorman and Robert C. in the leadoff spot at that one. Comments, questions, super chats, they will cut the line. We got a super chat here from Brian who says, imagine the Jets week 17 win and get in. I can imagine it. I don't foresee it, but I'd love to be dead wrong. I mean, if the Jets could play a win and you're in scenario, I guess it technically would be week 18 for win and you're in now. But yeah, I mean, that'd be unbelievable if they gave us that type of year.
Yeah, I'm really just wanting to be like entertained. Like the last few years have just been so soul crushing as a Jet fan, and like going from the high of like that running in with the flag with Rodgers, we haven't really seen. I think the Fields week 1 with the Steelers was a lot of fun, but outside of that, like our season was over by October the last few years. So just give me something to like hold on to. I want to see development from the young players that we draft this year. I'm not setting the bar so high that like success for me is playoffs. I think success is like trending up in the right direction and knowing who your coach is.
HX says, Muji Roxy gets it. Hopefully I don't eat my words, but I have a strong feeling he takes us to the promised land soon. Ryan, I'll probably be at Texas, Arizona, by the way. Sorry, Jake. Pitt is a little far. That's right. Texas, Arizona is the name of the bar you guys are doing the draft party at?
Yeah. It's right in Hoboken. It's right off the PATH train. There's a bunch of parking garages right there. We're doing $25, get your first drink, and then you get to hang out with us all night. We'll have the crowd cam going, and
we need the crowd cam. We need that crowd cam.
Last time, dude, we had like Jeremy bumping bellies with, I think it was Nick. One of the guys was like smoking a cigar, was going to get us in trouble, kicked out of the friggin' like.
Yeah, my caller Neil.
It was so funny. It's a good time. We're looking forward to it.
Love that. For anyone not going to Pittsburgh, go to the Talking Jets draft party. For anyone going to Pittsburgh, we'll see you at McFadden's free draft party for all Jet fans in attendance. Derek, the Kansas Jet fan, in the raffle for one. Let's go, Derek. Hit the Jet chant for him. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. We heard from Michael Levinson. Now we will hear from his opponent, the defending champ in Asmaniac Madness is on the line.
The only thing worse than the New York Jets is cheap-ass shoes and head coach blues. At least we got Muji and some first-round picks. Jake, my brother, I'm trying to get hype, but this team sucks, and Joe Bonesy needs me to sell new flippers to this fat dumpster fire.
The champ.
Ryan, Jake, what's up, fellas?
Bones.
That's good, brother.
You know, draft, because we can talk ourselves in circles at what we're going to do at 2 and 16. I mean, who do I want? I definitely want a wide receiver at 16. I think Ty's hype is going to snowball into top 10, in my opinion. I feel like with what, Orlovsky's starting and, everyone's starting. So that snowball will watch. I guarantee someone's going to trade up for him. And I don't think it's us. I don't think he's in our plans unless Frankie really likes him. Well, so that will to be determined. But my gripe today is more just with the people like Gypsy, my man, complaining about Frank Reich. Who did we listen? We had a young offensive coordinator that we couldn't get a read on because the quarterback play was insufficient. So we couldn't really get a perfect read on Tanner. But who did we want? If Jet fans are hilarious to me. If you look at all the offensive coordinators that were signed this year, besides Dable and Mike McDaniels, I don't think any of you guys can even name them. Like Zach Robinson dude, some of the offensive coordinators were all promoters and young guys that we already had a young guy in the building. So the only way we were going to replace our young guy was with an adult, a vet in the room. And yes, I understand Frank Reich was bad in Carolina, but you heard the rumblings that he doesn't like short quarterbacks. We've all heard that. We heard he didn't want Bryce, and he was fired midseason in his first year. So that could tell you what you need to know about that relationship. But when you go back to I don't care what he did in college, to be honest. With Stanford, I was a favor to Andrew Luck. I really don't care. It doesn't really translate to the NFL. But when he was with the Colts, 3 of his first 4 years, he was top 10 in offense. I mean, I don't care. If he gives us top 15 to 20, we're going to be happy. So, he had a different quarterback every year. So, first install of the offense to a different new quarterback every year. And some of them were vets. Some of them, Phillip Rivers and Carson Wentz and whatever. It was a top 10 offense, especially rushing, and we have an offensive line, and we got Breece coming back. So I don't see why we're so out on Frank that he can't, just give us mediocre. We're not asking for that much because we're so pitiful. So if we give us a top 15 offense, we're going to be fucking giddy, man. Watching someone throw for some yards and touchdowns, we don't see that shit. I repeat this stat constantly because it's ridiculous that in the past 16 years, there's only been 3 quarterbacks that have hit 3,000 yards passing, and that's Darnold in his lucky rookie year, Fitzmagic and Rodgers, and 20 touchdowns or more has happened twice, and that's Fitzpatrick and Rodgers. So, I still just don't get why we can't give Frank Reich a chance. I'm big on Frank coming to us and just being the adult in the room and getting us back to not looking like a pitiful, embarrassing team. And
I think that's fair. I just wonder how much Geno has left. He's going to be 36. He's thrown 32 picks the last 2 years. They'll be better offensively. It's hard to be worse. I just don't know if they're going to be a top 15 offense, though. I mean, could they be low 20s? I don't think it's crazy to say they could.
Yeah, I think it all hinges on Geno's play. We saw the little bit of success we had last year was with Tyrod, operating within the offense. Geno will push the ball downfield, which I think we didn't really get to see last year. But I think this offense will go by however Geno goes, which is why I think they probably take a mid-round swing on a quarterback too, and they have that kind of fallback situation because maybe you can get a good read on Reich depending on how quarterbacks have improved year over year, whether that's with us or coming from the Raiders with Geno.
No, I agree with that. Everything's on Geno because everything's on quarterbacks. We all know that. That's obviously how the NFL works. But what I will say is that Frank Reich's thing is pounding the rock. He's been top 10 rushing with the Colts. And yeah, he had Jonathan Taylor, but we have Breece and we have a solid offensive line. And if you give Geno a run game like you did in Seattle, I kind of have tried just taking the Raiders year, kind of erasing it from my mind, just from my sanity, because it was a bad year. But Chip Kelly got fired, mid-season. Offensive line was beat up. Jacoby Myers has been solid catching passes every year. They couldn't figure it out in that offense. He got traded. Jeanty, do we really think Ashton Jeanty was as bad as he was last year? It's just like they were all a mess. And Geno still threw 19 touchdowns for 3,000 yards, which is better than what we do. So I think you combine a good offensive line with a veteran guy who isn't going to wow you and be top 5 offense, but he could definitely be in that 15 to 20 range. And for us and what we've seen, that's a huge improvement, man. That's a huge improvement.
Hey, Bonesy, can you order shoes online? Dream wants to buy some Alden sneakers, some shoes.
Look, you can, but my shoes are expensive, and you got to come through me because I can get you 45% off. And, we're talking
promo code Asmaniac Madness, I hear.
Promo code Jake Asman is goated, or promo code Nick Shine's third leg. Those are the 2 promo codes.
Bonesy, you're off to a great start here. Michael Levinson, a fantastic caller, but he even said himself, he just doesn't get a chance to call on as much. So right now you're up 83-17. Your thoughts on your performance here as you're looking to repeat as champion?
Well, I people aren't going to be too excited to hear this, but I do not want to repeat this year. If we could just look at yesterday as an example of what we want to see for this tournament, and it's called entertainment. All I'm coming at with you is Jets talk. I ain't attacking nobody. We ain't talking taxes. We ain't boxing. We're just talking Jets. And if you look at what happened yesterday with Gypsy and Gary, they might meet up on the street and box if they meet up in the Asmaniacs tournament. How do we not want to see Gary versus Gypsy? And look, I get it, but I feel like this year's Asmaniacs tournament is more about entertainment than it is about Jets fandom. So I will be taking a back seat. I'll try to convince everybody.
But the people love you, Bonesy.
I know. But
you're
sometimes
a Jet fan, family man. You say that people want entertainment, but people also like their Jets talk, and you provide a mixture of both.
Well, I appreciate that, and I do appreciate everybody voting for me. I got a lot of friends. I've been here for a long time. I made a lot of friends, a lot of close friends. It's a great community, and I do appreciate all the love. You guys know that. But when I get to Gypsy's matchup, I will be voting hard and telling everybody to keep up. You know, everybody messes with their hate towards Beast. Well, vote with hate when it's me versus Gypsy. You know, don't vote with love, man. Vote with hate. But this guy, you got to be happy that it's Asmaniac Madness during March Madness, and we're still all here talking Jets. So I love y'all. Jake, you the man. And let's go, baby. Let's go, Jets.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bones.
Asmaniac Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
Bonesy saying he doesn't want to repeat is why he's got a great chance to repeat, because people love that, and he will get a ton of votes. I'm not surprised in the slightest. Couple of super chats, and we'll let Ryan run, and I will stay on for the rest of the calls. Gary checking in. What's up, Gary? He's in the raffle for 4. Gary Fuller says, do you guys like linebacker Jacob Rodriguez at 33? It's amazing to see his rise, because I remember when I was at the Senior Bowl with Dylan and Dom, we were talking about Rodriguez as a day 2, maybe a day 3 pick, and now there's talk of him going in late 1. I've seen from some. He's a baller, man. I actually met his agent at the Combine this year. Great dude. Rodriguez played at Texas Tech. One of my good friends went to Texas Tech, so I kind of been following a lot of their players. Obviously, David Bailey as well is on that defense. I like Rodriguez. I don't know if 33 is the right spot for him necessarily, but if he's there at 44, I would take him.
Yeah, I was going to say 44 is kind of where I was sort of mentally prepared to take him. I like him. He's a little bit older. I think he's close to 24, if memory serves correct. So, you know, there's a little bit of a knock maybe that way. But if you get a good player on a 4-year contract, you know, I'm all about it. Jets are going to need more than just like, if we go Reese at 2, you're still going to need a linebacker.
Yeah, you're 100% right about that. Andrew C says, Geno MVP. How's that, Jake? They have won me back. Do you see Geno Smith winning an MVP?
They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though.
I mean, I think if he wins anything, it could be comeback player of the year. If he like pops off, like if let's say he goes for 4,000 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, like that's probably good enough in the New York media market. And the Jets would probably be in pretty good shape. You'd got to think we'd be contending for a playoff spot at that point. I think comeback player of the year makes more sense for Geno, if anything.
Andrew C on quite the run with the super chats. Bonesy, ... Cowboy boots. Bonesy, please let Dream know if you sell cowboy boots at Alden Shoe Store. Andrew C also says, Black Gypsy is a complainer, but the dude is right more often than not. I hate that. He is right most often. Andrew C, thank you. Jets Worldwide says, Bonesy's got a 3 feet as champ. Hey now. Super chat from Andrew C. A back seat, ? In response to Bonesy saying he'll take a back seat in the tournament, which anyone who knows how this works, that ain't happening. I don't believe that for a second. Derek checks in.
It's going to be one of those, what is it, Streisand effects?
Yep, well said. Derek, the Kansas Jet fan, says, just wanted to say, Ryan, you're the man. Love you, Matt, and Clean Bean on Talking Jets. Keep up the great work and all the love, man.
Love it, dude. Thanks so much for supporting and hanging out. And, man, this Jet community is absolutely a blast.
So what are your thoughts on Green Bean shaving the beard now that you've had, you know, a couple months to really kind of process his new look?
It was bizarre. The first time, like, he sent us a picture, and I was like, oh, my God. I didn't expect your chin to look that way. Like cracking jokes and whatnot. But yeah, he's got a really nice, like thin beard right now. It's come in really well. Like even without the big long beard that he had, I think it still looks really, really good on him. It's like a whole new bean.
A whole new bean. Yeah, it's crazy because if he really wanted to go undercover, he goes clean shaven. No one recognizes him.
No, he probably looks 10 to 20 years younger without the beard on. Bizarre.
Yeah, it's it's amazing. Where was his last comment I wanted to read? It was from our guy Chelzo, and he's like, am I crazy for thinking Geno's gonna ball out? Can Geno Smith give us the Fitzpatrick 2015 year we're asking for, which is so ironic because that year only happens because Geno got punched in the jaw by his own teammate.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if back in, what was it, 2013 when we drafted Geno, that he would be on the Jets, 15 years later, and, would you think that's a successful pick? We'd be like, oh, hell yeah, that's awesome. The way it kind of played out is maybe a little less enthusiastic. I don't remember what Fitzpatrick looked like the year prior to popping off with us. None of us really expected Fitz to have that type of year. We had the weapons, like Decker and Marshall were both seen as really good players. We had the running back. Was it Ivory at that time? I think it was Ivory. So, I mean, I guess it's possible. You could see something kind of pop off. I don't want to keep saying that I'm super pessimistic on Geno, but man, he didn't look good with the Raiders. Like even outside of that bad offensive line, it just, the decision making didn't seem to be there. And even my Raider buddy friends are like, what the hell are you guys doing? So as much as we want to play the spin zone with Geno, I just don't know if I'm there on it.
The only thing I could point to is he is one of those quarterbacks, and you could say this about most QBs or all of them, but with Geno, I'll pull the specific numbers next time I reference the stat. When he is under duress, he's horrific. When he has had a clean pocket, he still is one of the more efficient quarterbacks in the league, like upper half of the league. The Jets, for all their issues, actually have a competent offensive line that they could still potentially even add to in this draft coming up. If he's protected and they avoid the injury bug, I do think there's a chance he could be an adequate passer. I just don't trust the head coach to fix the defense to a point where they're going to be able to be good enough on both sides of the ball to win enough games where they're actually playing meaningful games in December.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be enough there to have substantial wins. I mean, honestly, if we could have games where we're like scoring 44 points and we lose like 48 points, like I don't really hate that. Like just entertain me, get like a high pick or whatever. I think we need to win as many games as possible. I think Garrett and Breece in particular just have seen so much losing since they've been here. We need positivity around this team, no matter how we get it. And if Geno can have the second coming of Fitz, I'm all on board with it.
Oh, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Ryan, thank you so much for giving us an hour of your time here on a Saturday. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Jets do in the draft. I'm sure we'll definitely get you on from now until then. But continued success on your channel. Tell people if they don't already know, they've been living under a rock, where they could find your YouTube channel.
Yeah, Jets Talk 24/7, YouTube, cross-platform to Facebook and Twitter and whatnot, but always available in the comments and talking some ball. And Jake, thank you again for having me on. It's absolutely a blast talking to you.
Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7 is our guest. Keep Green Bean in line. We know he wants the Jets to draft a bunch of kickers this year.
Oh, well, I'm on the kicker bandwagon. Give me a kicker in the 6th round all day. Dom is wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7. Let's go. Hit the Jet chant. Shout out to Ryan for coming on. Hey, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. I just got an email. We got a new member. Bino has joined the Patreon. Shout out to you, Bino. You became a member. Just $6 a month, people. You get access to the Discord. It's even cheaper than that if you sign up for the year. Plus, if you do sign up for the year, you get 10 raffle tickets, and I'll put you in for the weekly raffle we have coming up at the end of the stream. Make sure you enter, folks. Curtis Martin helmet, Wilson jersey, Testaverde jersey, each include a certificate of authentication, some super chats I want to hit before we go right back to your outstanding calls. Andrew C., he writes in that Rodriguez is moving up in the draft according to Andrew C.'s insiders. The Dream Andrew C., noted NFL insider.
Yeah.
The Dream Andrew C. says, Geno, 3,400 yards and 25 touchdowns. I think every Jet fan would sign for that, right? Now, the yards is a little low for a guy throwing that many touchdowns, but maybe they run the ball extremely well. Cisco says, for my champ for the dub, got all the prizes. Thanks, Jake. Cisco, you are the man. Good luck in the raffle again today, and you won the Sack Exchange jersey yesterday, so I'm going to make sure I send that out when I send out the current prizes we got. All right, Cisco, appreciate you. Got him down for 2 more. Let's get to more of your calls. Appreciate everyone who was on hold, being a part of the show. Let's go to Jiggy the Jetman next. What's up, Jig? You have Jiggy or Caleb Williams? Jiggy. Jig.
Oh, you motherfuckers.
Jig.
Okay.
Jig.
All right.
Sound the alarms, Jiggy. Jiggy. Hey, let me go to my enforcer to get his attention.
Yes, you think you can
Jiggy!
You get up in the morning.
Jiggy!
You think you fucking with
Open your ears! Jiggy! Open your ears! Quit puffing that weed and come over here. Come on. Let's go. You can't hear. Jake, you can't hear me. He's in another world, my friend. I think he's on either level 11 or level 12.
But you don't know what a drug is, so that's really
okay. So I will. I can describe what it is. I don't have the actual literal definition of it. I can easily look it up.
Something a drug. So when you called it a drug, what were you calling it? What did you mean by drug? That's all I'm asking.
Gary,
you don't know what.
Good job.
All right, Jiggy. Thanks for wasting all our times. Good God. More of your calls right now. Let's say hello to a man who never wastes our time. He always has passion. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
I'm Black Gypsy. You're the set all you delusional Jets fan straight. Your takes make me wanna punch you in the face or kick you in the crotch. When this team sucks, they suck. I'm Black Gypsy. I'm Black Gypsy. I'm Black Gypsy. I'm Black Gypsy.
Yay, my brother. In the words of Bonesy. So I was watching the shine last night, right? And I had this thought because we have so many players coming back to this team that were on this team before. And this is crazy. This is the redemption Jets year. Like, this is the closest we're going to get to Fitzpatrick year with Geno again. There's so many parallels that where they all tie back in. But you have Reich, you have Musgrave, you have AG, you have Davis, you have Geno. You have all these players that have went somewhere else and kind of did something, and now they're coming back here, and we're hoping it's all going to come together in a good stew, a good gumbo that's delicious. But at the same time, it could be the nastiest, grossest gumbo ever. Because what Bonesy said, I love Bonesy, and I voted for Bonesy. Bonesy and Shine are very optimistic. And as Jets fans, I guess you need to have that to be delusional enough to make it through the year. But when push comes to shove, Frank Reich was absolutely horrible at the Panthers. Like, absolutely horrible. 29th offense. The worst. Like, he was really, really bad. And then he was out of
quarterback. You got to have some nuance to it, some context applied to it.
I thought he's the quarterback whisperer. I thought he can make quarterbacks better. Isn't that what?
Maybe not the one that he didn't want, if you believe those reports, that it was Stroud that they wanted and the owner overruled him.
Let's hope that it was Bryce that was the problem.
Do you think that Geno Smith at this stage is still better than Bryce Young as a rookie?
Yeah,
I do.
I think Geno is. Here's the thing. Last year is a very, very bad thing for Geno, but I'm hoping, because I like Geno, that Geno can come back here and give us half of what he gave us. He gave Seattle, like just half of that. If we can get half of that from him, like we can be okay. But this is a redemption team, and we're bad news bears type of shit. Like we're hoping that they could be better. But Bonesy coming on here and telling that Frank Reich is going to have a top 15 offense is asinine, and it's delusional. It is literally delusional.
It's a lot more hopium than I think Bones wants to admit. But they could be a top 20 offense. I don't think that's insane.
Maybe. We're hoping it could be a top 20.
That's all this is. It's all hope. I don't think we have a head coach, so I don't think they're going to be very good. But it's all hope.
It's kind of funny because I really, really want to see Geno do good this year. I really, really want to see him do good because I like Geno.
Honestly, I like how he's handled himself since he's been back. I think some of his interviews, he's genuine. I think he does feel like he has unfinished business here, and he does have a chip on his shoulder. It's just some of his success or failure here, it might not be in his total control.
In his hands. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, like, with AG being who AG is, it's going to be an interesting year. Better than last year. And anything is better than last year. So, that's an upswing. Because normally everybody's like, oh, I'm negative. I just state the facts. To me, Wilkes and Reich are on the same level. Like, there's no difference between them. They're both horrible now. Like when Wilkes was okay and when Reich was good was when Belichick was good, which is eons ago. Like he's not good anymore, and we have no proof to say he's good. We're just hoping. So let's hope that he is better. But on some Asmaniac Madness shit, Jake, you need to learn what the definition of a drug is first, and you got to pay your taxes, bro. Make sure you pay your taxes. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Who said I don't pay my taxes? Don't confuse me for Gary. I pay more taxes than most because of this YouTube job I have and all the different sources of revenue I have from like sponsors. YouTube is all 1099. I probably pay more taxes than most. And when I moved back from Texas to New York, I now have to pay state tax. So you're talking to someone that probably pays more taxes than most Americans.
Yeah, you're in New York, bro.
That's
Gotta
right.
pay to play.
It cost me
Gotta pay to
an
play.
extra 25 grand a year just to live in this city on taxes.
I found yesterday awesome. And so for Gary, whenever he wants, I am really down. I don't know if he can box because I think he has like ADD problems or whatever, but that would be great. He's a boxing promoter. Let's put it together. I used to beer fist box in the military, so I can box. So if he wants to smoke, I am totally down to pick my ass up from Florida and go wherever he wants to punch him in the face. All right? It'll make me feel good.
Well, I'll tell you what, things got a little wild. The definition of the drug aspect of it, though, the point that I was trying to articulate is there are different levels of drugs. Like there's a difference between like meth and like having alcohol, having a beer, what Barbarossa was doing. But what I thought was hilarious is, and you know this because you argue with Gary too, like by Gary's explanation of a drug, caffeine is definitely a drug, but he just wouldn't acknowledge that.
He won't take the L. He'll never take an L.
And like you just and then when you have them, when you catch them at something, instead of just being like, good point, here's how I actually what I mean, or just like furthering the conversation on what the central crux of the argument could have been, it's then he goes into attack mode. And I was just sitting there just laughing, like, come on, man.
Take shots like lower IQ, feminine. Because yesterday I was like, he got me yesterday, though, I have to say. Because he got me to react. Normally I really don't react. I'm like, whatever, Gary. But like, come on, man. Stop calling people feminine. It's a dirty shot. Like, we're both grown ass men. We can argue without you calling somebody feminine as another dude. Like, find another word. Like, use your vocabulary better, bro. Other than that, like, I'm enjoying the Asmaniac Madness. Yesterday's second show was gold.
Yeah.
Pure gold. Like, I literally laughed. Amanda doing the chat. Jay Quest yelling at her, like, do it now. Like, it was awesome. Pure entertainment. That's all I got.
She was put on the spot, and I think it will make her a better caller at overcoming that.
Yeah, see, if you're gonna be a Jets fan, like everyone's gonna hate you anyway, so just be loud and be obnoxious. Be a Jets fan. Like that's what we are. Let's go.
Love it. Like Gypsy, excellent call by you.
Jets.
Update in voting in Asmaniac Madness. The champ Bonesy running away in this one, 83-17. This is potentially a historic blowout for Mr. Bonesy, something he knows all too well. Here's a look at some of the biggest blowouts in the history of Asmaniac Madness. Bonesy's got the record last year, 85-14 over JT. You'll notice Amanda Madison's win earlier this week over Jordan, 81-19, has now cracked the list. So right now, 83-17 would put Mr. Bonesy on the list here in 2026 for one of the biggest blowouts in the history of this tournament, which again, if you're a new listener, is only in its second year of existence. Let's go back to Jiggy the Jetman, who doesn't know he's on the air. Hey, Jiggy. You don't say. Jiggy, thank you. Some super chats. Then we'll go right back to your calls. Andrew C says, great call by Jiggy. Andrew C then follows up with a super chat. I still laugh at the time when Beast was on with Gypsy and he called him Booker T. I remember that. That was great. That was great. I actually knew Booker T because he would do a radio show on ESPN Houston. He's from Houston. He'd do a wrestling show once a week on our station, and I got to know him a little bit. Good dude. Let's say hello to the number one overall seed in this tournament, which means get your guesses in.
Blimey, I could see you outside coming today.
Beautiful outside.
Yep. I'm wearing a black t-shirt and your black quarter zip, and I feel like I'm wearing a solar panel.
Damn. So, I can't wait to walk around in the great outdoors today then.
Yes. You know, a lot of people have been saying back to 4, and I've seen some of these trade scenarios with the Titans and the Sims. I don't think that early second this year and a 4th is really plausible to go back 2 spots in this draft. I would be more open to a second round of next year, and then maybe a mid-round pick to go back for those spots, because I do think you would be able to pick up either one of the two linebackers / edge when you talk about Reese, or then I think maybe Tate comes into the conversation because he's probably the cleanest of the receivers. And I don't think that any of those three top receivers are going to be there at 16. It's just like every mock that I'm seeing, at least two of them are going in the top 10. And then the third one is usually going sometime in the top 14 picks.
Especially now with Miami trading Waddle, it feels more likely that they could take a receiver there.
Right. So, I mean, if we were to wait until 33 and didn't move off that pick, like, who are we bringing in? Is it, maybe we get lucky and Casey Concepcion is there, or like, I don't know which. It kind of feels like that's kind of like a lull spot for wide receivers too. If you look at, the strengths of this graph and people's top 50s and stuff like that. It kind of seems to me like you either got to go up if you want to get something of a sure thing, as much as anything can be a sure thing in the draft at receiver, or you got to just kind of try and go back, accumulate picks, and take a couple of dart throws at it. And I'll be interested to see what kind of tack our boy Mooj takes. Yeah, it's a beautiful day today. My wife is going out with her friends. My kids are already out with their friends. Shortly, I will be left to my own devices, and it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Enjoy your day.
What does Kyle Clifton do when he's left to his own devices on a gorgeous day in the New York City area?
Well, what happens is that there is a beach bar that just reopened. It's kind of seasonal, and I might go up there and watch some NCAA basketball for about 2 hours or so.
Outstanding. Kyle, you're the man. You deserve it.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Kyle Clifton. Beast, how's the weather in the Chicago area?
We're a little chilly because the weather is just about to take a big. We're going back down just for a couple of days, but then the return of that heat wave will be coming shortly in the very, very near future. But
are you gonna go tanning?
No. Oh, I also tried something brand new yesterday at the arcade joint. Did a little driving. They got them driving things there for Cruising USA. Got on it. 10, 2, no problem. Just relax, take it slow, and let the good times roll.
Take it slow and let the good times roll.
You know who said that? Stifler from American Pie. That's the man who invented that line, saying, take it slow and let the good times roll.
I'm a fan of Stifler's mom.
MILF. Mom, I like to fuck. MILF. 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 The guy, hey, you gotta love those two Chinese guys. Those guys are great. But
finally, a movie that I've seen many, many times. I could quote it just as much as Beast. Love it. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. I'm counting raffle tickets. Let's get some entries in if you want to win one of our 3 signed items. Vinny Testaverde jersey, Garrett Wilson jersey, Curtis Martin helmet, each signed and authenticated by the Jet player mentioned. Comments, questions, super chats. Reminder, when you enter the raffle, you're also in next week's raffle. I might move raffles to Saturdays. I like the idea of doing these on Saturday shows, which I think we get good vibes. Just give people some prizes on the weekend. Joe Namath signed helmet, Darrelle Revis signed helmet, and Breece Hall signed helmet are the 3 purchased items for next week's Asmaniac raffle. Hit the like button if you are just tuning in. Reminder that we're presented by FanDuel Sportsbook in honor of some good weather in New York and baseball starting next week. I thought I'd pull some odds for the World Series over at FanDuel. The Dodgers, the 2-time defending champs, are the favorites. The Yankees have the second highest odds at plus 1,000. Look at the drop, though. Dodgers 210. The next closest is the Yankees plus 1,000. The Mariners plus 1,200. Mets plus 1,300. Phillies plus 1,600. Red Sox plus 1,600. The odds for the 2026 World Series winner. Let's go Yanks, who open up against the San Francisco Giants later this week on Netflix. More of your calls right now. We head live to the great outdoors where Amanda Madison is standing by. Hello, Amanda.
Hi, Jake. Hi, everyone. I'm in Central Park right now. Let me flip the camera. I'm getting better at this. It's
Look at
a
the great
gorgeous
outdoors.
day in New York City. It's funny, like it's packed. There's so many people out and about. So yeah, I just wanted to share the nice weather with everyone. And
any Jet fans?
also, I actually was looking for some to practice the chant with, and I couldn't find any. So luckily, I brought a book with me. So we're just doing a little reading. But I rewatched the call from yesterday, and like the connection's never as good on StreamYard. And Jake Quest was so funny. And thank you for getting that out of me. I'm practicing, we're improving. And when the time feels right, you'll hear the best Jets chants from a woman that you've ever heard.
Beastbreaker says,
Also,
sounding
I love,
pretty as always, sounding like an angel.
thank you, Beast. Feel free to share your Instagram, by the way. I'll follow you. I don't know if you missed that, but
Famous last
Beast has
words.
been, well, he's been inquiring for my Instagram for a while, and I don't want to share it publicly, but I'll follow him.
Veteran Jet fan says, Amanda's always sounding like she's sharing a secret.
This is just my voice. I'm sorry. I'm outside. I promise I'm talking like at a normal octave. I apologize if you don't like that.
Can you give us a Jet take or Jet chant, whatever your preference is?
I'll do a take. I'm not feeling great going into this season. I think going to the draft will help boost morale. I'm looking forward to that and seeing whoever else makes their way to Pittsburgh. I am cool with the general consensus of all the people that I'm not gonna, just repeat everyone else's takes, but I'm cool with any of them, honestly. I'm newer, I'm still learning. I hope it's a good draft. I think Muji is really defining himself and distinguishing himself as a GM. AG has a lot to prove. I feel good about the new hires. I don't love Frank Reich, but I like Dunbar and like Seth Ryan. And I think we're making good trades in free agency thus far. Like Mika Fitzpatrick, I think is gonna do wonders for the defense and just be more of a leader. And we lacked that last year. So I feel good about everything. And I hope Garrett Wilson gets some completions. He's big OSU grad. So I have a question, Jake. Who do you think they're gonna pick at 33 right now? Maybe
Ty
16.
Simpson. Ty Simpson,
And
baby.
no, what if he's not there?
Jets, Jets.
If he's not there, I think they're going to trade out of 33 personally.
Got it. Thank you. That's all I have.
Ladies and gentlemen, Amanda Madison, before you go, can you give us some Jet chant?
It feels a little soon, but if I must. JETS, Jets.
And
that's all.
Here we go. Let's go. Well done by Amanda in Central Park. Now, I think they're going to take Arvell Reese with the second overall pick. This I saw was making the rounds on Twitter. Here's Arvell Reese wearing a Jet uniform. Looks pretty good to me. The number 8, though, on a pass rusher, linebacker type, it just looks weird. I don't like that the NFL has become college football with its rules for numbers. I liked it better when you knew a number and you can associate it with a position. But here's your look at Arvell Reese in a Jet uniform.
Can't wait.
More of your calls right now. Let's say hello to a man who deserves your respect. It's David Mother effing T. Where's his intro? I can't find it. There it is. I found it. Hit it.
I got my eye on you.
Hi, Jake. You're much too kind. I respect you, your show, and all that. Black Gypsy and Kyle Clifton, two of the best callers and people. And the one Jets take. Well, Black Gypsy had mentioned Reich and all that stuff. I happen to have a friend. He's in his 70s and he's a Colts fan ever since he's a kid. And in following Reich, when he was head coach in the Colts, I asked him, when the Jets hired Reich, I said, what do you think? He said, I feel that when they let him go, it was unjustified. So, I mean, that's only his opinion. He follows the Colts and he knows his football. So, and the other thing is, I think Mr. Bonesy is humbling himself a little too much. I find that the callers, even though it might be a little bit, the main focus is to give a little Jets take or a little bit more, and I think he should let the chips fall where they may, and not hope not to win the tournament, and but anyway, the entertainment portion of it. I mean, I love it's easy to be attached to the Asmaniacs. I mean, I love knowing what people do for a living. People come from all walks of life. Everybody has their own personalities, and it filters into your show, Jake, where we all have fun, and So that's all I got.
I love the muscle milk hat, David T.
I'm glad you asked. There's a thrift store, a church thrift store, right up from where I live. And if you walk, I just walked through and dilly dally, and this muscle milk was there. The muscle milk hat had the tag on it and all, brand new. And so I had worked for Pepsi, and one of our products was muscle milk, and it was really, really good, like chocolate milk. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy that hat, and it cost me a whole 50 cents.
Wow, that's great value. That's a great deal.
Yeah, it's a great, all the money goes to the church, and they're like clothing or whatever. I mean, they'll put stuff on the rack, with tags, brand spanking new and everything.
Good job.
Thank you, Max. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, David T.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. They call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
I've never been a muscle milk guy, but back in the day, some good chocolate milk, a little Nesquik. Oh, yeah. The good stuff. The good stuff. Right, Beast?
It depends. I'm a 2% milk man myself. I used to like whole milk, but 2% is more of my thing now. But if you do on a Saturday morning when it's like crisp and sunny, you know what goes good on a good day? A good old fashioned cookie crisp. Money does not grow right here. Money don't grow here. Oh, look, it's Kip Winger.
Outstanding. More of your calls, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate everyone who's a part of the show today. We got the raffle coming up at the end of the stream. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Jets Collective. Our first show is Tuesday. Me, Brandon Tierney, and Rich Samini starting a podcast together. Brand new YouTube channel, so you guys can subscribe. The link is in the description. The link is also about to be in the live chat for those of you who haven't hit the subscribe button. You need about 1,000 subscribers on YouTube to monetize the channel. We got Prize Picks already as one of our big sponsors for the show. We're already over 500 subs, which is outstanding because that means we can get super chats after our first show. So this will be really fun, interactive. Every time I have Rich on, you guys love the feedback. BT was a guest on the show, and the feedback from that was great. So very passionate people who, in the case of BT and I, love the Jets. Rich has covered the Jets longer than any reporter in the history of the team. So this will be a lot of fun. Cisco checks in. Put me in. I want another win. Cisco is red hot. That's what you got to do. It's like when you're playing blackjack and you're red hot, you got to press your luck and try and maximize your earning potential. That's what Cisco's trying to do in the raffle coming up. He is in for 2. Hold on. That was a weak cha-ching. Cha-ching me again. There we go. Good luck, Cisco. Derek says, I love that you're doing Saturday shows, Jake. These are awesome. Appreciate it, Derek. I try in the off season to always do a weekend show. Now, if we get to like June and July and there's nothing going on, maybe I'll actually give myself a little time off on the weekends. It all depends on my radio schedule as well. But, you know, I did radio Sunday mornings and we had post games after Jet games. And Saturday was my one kind of day off, if you will, during the season, even though I was still working because I had to get ready for the radio show Sunday mornings. But in the off season, I think Saturday is a good spot for it. And then we off Sunday. I'll give you guys some videos tomorrow, though, some best of segments that we're putting together. And then we will give you, obviously, our live programming returning Monday morning. Speaking of Derek, he's on hold. He happens to be the next caller. What's up, Derek?
Hey, Jake. How we doing, brother, man?
What's up, man?
Not much. Dude, just when I think I can't love Beast anymore, I find out he's a 2% milkman himself.
You're a 2% guy?
Absolutely stupendous. Yeah, I am. I'm actually not too picky about milk. It's just kind of whatever, cheaper on the shelf. I just had a couple takes. I love that all the draft talk. Ryan, dude, he's so awesome, man. It was so cool that he was on the show today. I had no clue. I woke up a little late, got in the chat a little late. I'm a big fan of. I really believe that I'd be absolutely shocked if the Jets don't go edge at number 2 and receiver at 16. And I kind of like that a fan favorite at those 2 picks in the first round might come to fruition. I'm actually a really big fan of that. I'm not really too picky, like all the Reese and Bailey debate. I love that Reese is 2 years younger. I think you just gotta bite on that. And I watch a lot of Big Ten football as a Penn State football fan. Reese is just, I don't know. I don't want to say like Micah Parsons like level ceiling, but I think the kid is very physically gifted, and I think it's going to show up on Sundays.
I can't even imagine, by the way, you being a Penn State football fan, having to watch some of the offenses. Now, Penn State did make the playoffs 2 seasons ago, so you've seen some winning on like the Jets, but you've seen a lot of bad offense and bad quarterback play as a fan of the Jets and Penn State.
You know, what's crazy is like in the last decade, Penn State's usually up there in one of the top scoring offenses, like with Ohio State in the country. Like you look through a lot of those lists, there's a lot of top 10 to 15 30, 40-point scoring offense. But yeah, the brand is a little difficult to watch, but their running backs are just so good. Which Katron Allen, by the way, I know Nick Singleton's getting a lot of hype, and he had a 30 visit, I think, with the Jets. Katron Allen, man, I'm telling you, that kid is going to be special. If he falls to day 3 and the Jets take him, I will be elated, like ecstatic through the roof.
What do you think of Aller, by the way? Do you want the Jets to use a day 3 pick on him?
See, I'm kind of where you're at. It's just like he has accuracy issues. Like I watched Josh Allen at Wyoming. I only seen like a couple games, but I think Aller has like Josh Allen type potential. I think he might be a better prospect in terms of coming out of college. I'm not saying he's not going to be near that level of a type of runner, I don't think. But 6'5", 235, I'm kind of where everyone else is. Like if we had a round 3 pick, I think I would pull the trigger on it. And I might get crushed for this. That's okay. I think he's going to be a starter in the NFL. I think he's going to be a good pro. But I just 2, 16, 33, and 44 are just a little too rich for me. But if we can get a round 3 pick, or if he falls through the 4th or higher, I'd definitely pull the trigger on it. I do get the risk. 63 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He's one of only 3 FBS quarterbacks to do that with that few turnovers. But he is kind of raw, and I understand it. I feel like if you can coach up Josh Allen, though, I'm not too high on him. But I think if you can get him in day 3, I think that you should probably pull the trigger on it. But I don't know. It's tough to say.
Yeah, I don't hate that take at all. I wouldn't do it at 44, so I agree with you. Now, here's a good question that a couple of people have wrote in the chat. I've been meaning to ask you on behalf of the community. Duncan wants to know, why do you have a 3-year-old calendar behind you?
Okay, so my dad went to Penn State. He's an alum. So that's kind of where I fell into the Penn State football. But that right there, Rock Chalk Jayhawk, that was the year that Kansas hung a banner and won a national championship. And I'm a diehard Kansas basketball fan.
Oh, okay. That's actually a great answer. I love that.
We got a date with the Johnnies tomorrow.
I was about to say Rick Pitino versus Bill Self in the round of 32 tomorrow.
I'm nervous. I don't think we're going to win, but it's been a fun run.
What's the deal with Patterson? Like he like why didn't
Peterson?
he play or Peterson? Because he's gonna be a top 3 pick in the draft, they say?
Yeah, he's got a lot of hype coming in. Him and Debansta, like a lot of debate. So I was following it pretty heavy. There's a lot of Jayhawk fans here in Kansas. I was just like really down on him. I've never seen cramps that bad, honestly, and that's why he missed a lot of his games. I think he's missed like 13 or 14 starts. It's almost half the season. I just the cramps are an excuse, and like Bill Self, Hall of Fame head coach already, he's stuck up for him a lot. I never seen a guy with cramps on the sideline that's not doing anything to like tend to it. I don't know. He's gotten a lot of criticism, and I don't know if it's well deserved or not. I'm pulling for him though, but yeah, it's been tough. It's mostly been cramps, so I don't think he's suffered any major injury.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a guy that obviously like when he plays is thought to be like maybe the best player in the sport, which kind of makes
Yeah.
you nervous if you're a Johnny's fan. Sometimes in the tournament, all it takes is that one great player that could carry you. Look at Steph Curry, Jimmer Fredette. There's so many, Kemba Walker. There's so many examples of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I hear you. He started 0 of 6 yesterday, and I was in a room full of my Jayhawk friends. My cousin Billy especially. He's like, "Get this guy off the court. He sucks." And I was like, "Oh man, I don't want to be just like that hater, but I just so I'm pulling for him." But he did start 0 of 6 yesterday. When he gets cold, he does not like to move the ball a lot. So the Johnnies might be in good shape, brother.
Well, Derek, great call, man. Good luck to Kansas.
Good luck to your Johnnies, brother. Jets, 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 Jets. Let's go, baby.
See, like Derek's a real Kansas fan. Like I'm a casual St. John's fan. I'll root for them because they're the New York team. Just like if Syracuse was in it, I'd root for them because I went to Ithaca and did go to some games in the Dome over the years. But I've always liked Rick Pitino, though, so I've always taken interest to St. John's since Pitino's been there. Andrew C. checks in. Amanda, ugh, I book in the park. Typical. You're not a reader, Andrew C.? You said you were reading a book the other day, I thought. Mike D's Nut says, what's up with the old calendar? I didn't even see that that Mike super chatted that. Well, we got the answer. That was the year Kansas hung a banner. So he's keeping the calendar up of their schedule from that season. Mike, even though you didn't technically gift a membership here, I really still want to play the Mike D's Nuts drop. It's been too long since I've been able to play it. Hit it. These nuts. You enter the raffle for 2, so that counts in my book. Andrew C. says, who's voting for me to take on Turncoat Gorman? Well, I'll tell you what, Andrew C., that matchup is going to be scintillating if we get it. You got to go through Sean first, and it's an 8-9 for a reason. I think this will be highly competitive. Andrew C., the 9 seed, Sean, the 8 seed. The winner will likely play Gorman, assuming he beats Robert C., but don't count out Robert C. Don't count out any 16 seed in this tournament. We've seen upsets. We've seen it happen. Peter Castro checks in with a super chat that gets him in the raffle for 2. He says, Jake, Reese, and Lemon tie the perfect draft. If the Jets, let's say, could go out there, Peter, and they could come away with Arvo Reese at pick 2, let's say Mekhi Lemon at pick 16, and they don't have to trade anything because Ty Simpson doesn't get drafted in the first round. He gets drafted, pick 33 to the New York Jets. That, according to Peter Castro, would be the perfect draft. Again, I don't hate it because then you would have pick 44 to take another impact player there. Maybe a safety, maybe a linebacker. Hell, is anyone against doubling up on receiver if they don't add a legit veteran? I'm not. Let's score points. Glenn's superpower is defense. We've already addressed defense in free agency. We're adding defense at number 2 in the draft. The Jets are telling you they think Arvell Reese, if it's him, is the best player in the draft that's not a quarterback. They'll probably say he was the highest player on their board regardless of position. They'll sell you on that. That's fine. Is anyone against that, though? I don't know if I would be. I'm not. Let's score points. Why not? You could fix defense with better coaching, and you could spend in free agency to fix the defense. And you're adding a superstar at 2. That's the goal when you're drafting 2nd overall and you're not taking a quarterback. You're trying to draft a superstar. You think Reese is a superstar if you take him. Would anyone be against doubling up on receiver at 16 and 44? I wouldn't. Not against it at all. Here's your list, by the way, as everyone sees on the screen, of the Jets draft capital. It includes the comp picks that they have received. So the Jets have 4 of the top 44 choices, which means they could add the most drafted players since 2021. That assumes they make all these picks. I think they'll be aggressive with some of the picks they have on day 3 to move up. Think about it. They have 2 fourths and a 5th. Why not try and package some of those picks to come into round 3 if you love a player? Let's say the Jets don't trade 2, 16, 33, and 44. You're already adding 4 players. If you're the Jets, why wouldn't you try and package the 2 fourths to come back into round 3? Or pick 103 and 179 to come into round 3? I would. That'd be my strategy. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from a man who is moving on in the next round of the Asmaniac Madness tournament.
He thinks that Gorman needs to get a freaking job. This cowboy hates to see Asmaniacs complain. What they call him, one-punch rigger. You need to get a job. What they call him, one-punch rigger. The beast is on his ass. They call him one-punch rigger. Has anyone seen Dean Mack? They call him one-punch rigger. He'll only need one.
Hey, good morning, Jake. It's good afternoon. I was on here such a long time. You got a lot of callers today.
The Saturday show is bringing out the best of people, Dave. Thanks for waiting.
That's good. I'm always I always like to just get my 2 cents in here. Anyway, this is for a dream. Listen, how could you vote against a man that drives a propane truck versus a kid that has no job? Okay, Dream, you got my vote, baby. You got my vote.
That's a big endorsement right there. Everyone knows the coveted Dave Briga endorsement goes a long way in this tournament.
This guy drives a propane truck. You know what kind of dangerous job that is? That's a dangerous job. Anyways, I started to peruse the draft charts, started to get interested in the draft. And we'll go there first, then we'll get to generation differences and quitters secondarily, if you got time. You got time, Jake?
I got time for you, Dave.
Okay. As far as the draft goes, the first 2 picks, we probably know where those are going, right? And even though as any draft goes, anything's on the table. You never know where the draft board's going to fall. Okay, so we're probably going to be surprised about a lot of things that happen during the draft. So they're going to get an edge rusher probably at number 2, right? So come 16, right? So everybody wants Lemon. This Sadiq is a beast. He is a beast, man. You put a 2 tight end set in there. I tell you, this guy, I don't think he's going to fail, Jake. I've watched that. I've watched some Oregon games. That guy is unbelievable. I mean, you want the guard there? Okay. Ione from Penn State. Whatever. But this guy, Sadiq, is a beast. I don't know about Lemon. The one guy's injured. Always injured. What's his name? Tyson?
Jordan Tyson.
A lot of injuries. You want an injury-prone? We had AVT. Is that enough injury-prone people that we had? And he's from SC too. He's from SC. Okay, same deal. I mean, he's a good player, and
he's Arizona State. Mekhi Lemon is the one from USC. But here's the thing that's crazy with AVT, Dave. AVT didn't have an injury history in college. Like, it's just bad luck since he's been a pro, unfortunately.
Did you hear he reached out to Boyd Green?
Who did?
AVT.
Really? What did he say?
I don't know. Boyd Green says it's on his Discord. Something about Double Espresso Club. You'll get access to it. But he and the AVT had a conversation, and I don't know if it was Twitter or some media forum. I don't know what happened. He's not disclosing it only to those members of that I think he calls it Double Espresso Club.
Interesting. I wonder what they talked about.
Yeah, it's crazy that AVT reached out to him. Anyway, I love this Sadiq. Okay, then that's 16, 33. If you're gonna pick a quarterback, just go for the Alabama guy, and whatever happens. Ty Simpson. Just give it a shot. I know we need another receiver. What's going on? That 44 for that Thomas. You think that's going to happen? If they need another receiver, it's all dead for that deal.
I don't think we could rule it out. I mean, at this point, he hasn't been traded. So until we get to the draft and he's still on their team after it, we have to consider him as an option, despite what publicly is being reported. I think there's some negotiation going on behind the scenes based on some of the rumblings.
Yeah. Maybe it's all the smoke screens and just everything under the table. contracts or whatever. We we don't want to get Muji's got to be ready to adapt on the fly. That's what's going to come to this because every draft is not the way we picture it. Just go back in history. They're all different. They're all so you have to be ready. So the biggest thing is we just have to hope that we don't know the narrative, who's got the most power, who doesn't, collaborative whatsoever. But what you don't want here is too much input from Glenn that he's going to sway things to saving his job. We said that before. Okay. That's all known. As far as the other part goes, I'm still trying to cool down from JJ yesterday. I shouldn't have, all these guys think you shouldn't react. Okay. Here's where the generational difference comes in. Okay. I'm probably, as opposed to Black Gypsy, and I don't even know how old the quitter JJ is, but you're talking like 30 years difference. Okay. So you people got even, big fella, he doesn't understand. Okay. You guys from a different generation understand. You just don't, I'm from Peter Castro, Neil, not Snowball. Snowball's younger. What's the guy that's Southern Jet? They may have a more passive attitude than I do. I'm from a different school altogether, man. I could be two people. I could be the kindest guy in the world. When I have to relax sometimes. Because I'm in the ministry, and my bad side comes up sometimes, and I'm like two people. You show me, once the fire stopped, but for that guy to call me a loser, for you guys, it's from a different generation. You didn't talk to people this way. You'd have to understand this training all comes to you don't talk to people that have been around and gone through a lot of stuff like losers. Okay, that's it. They may not understand. We have a lot of young guys here. They never have they haven't been trained in the household. Okay, just put it that way. I'm trying to be nice and kind here. You just don't talk to your elders in this manner. And I don't consider myself an elder because I reach out to the younger community. But that guy's not going to talk to me as a loser, especially, and that he follows everything because he knows everything in the chat. So the guy calls himself a quitter, but he's in the backside of things watching.
100%.
I don't appreciate that. I don't. And if I have anything to say, I don't react because I'm hair trigger. Hey, I'm not going to let people just talk to me that way. And he does not, like these younger guys. He's not in my mind because if at the hockey rink, if he could lace on a pair of skates, he would make it past the face-off. All right.
Amen. Dave, you're not a loser. You're a winner because you're as passionate and loyal to the team. And
Jay,
that makes you a real fan. That makes you a winner. It's character.
I think you're able to understand because you have some motivation in your life. These other guys, they could sit home. There's a couple of guys in there yesterday, especially this guy named Catskills. If the guy had to face me up front, like I told, what's his name, JJ, face up. That means you put all your cards on the table. Like when you're playing poker, put the first card up because I'm ready. Okay, he's never ready. And I'm going to leave you fellas with this. This is a little crude, but you got to do the investigation. In the 80s, there was a movie. It was called Death Hunt. It was Lee Marvin and Charles Bronson. They were out in the Western Canadian. It was a movie based on an actual story about trappers. And so, they're facing gunfire, whatever. And Lee Marvin faced one guy who was a real coward, and he came up to him and he had him pretty much on the ropes. And you're going to have to fill in the blanks. I'm not going to go through the rest of it. It's a little crude. But my wife was even shocked. When couples used to go out to watch movies in the old days. I think she was shocked when it came up with this line. But I'm not going to complete complete this ionic phrase, and it goes like this. This is for JJ. Okay, the best part of your daddy, and follow it up. Okay, remember that. Look it up. Death Hunt, 1981. Lee Marvin and Charles Bronson. The best part of your daddy, JJ. Go look it up. Okay? I'll leave you fellows with that. And upon that, I shall head out for the day. So, Jake, let's hope we get some good results in this draft. And we'll be talking about it. Hopefully everything pans out that I'm able to make this trip down to the draft. I'm planning on it. I'm trying to set the time aside. So let's see what happens. But JJ, you're a weak man. Very weak. Very weak. Quitters. Quitters never become achievers. They only run into holes and hide. So go
Amen.
find a new team, bum. Okay. God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Dave Brigga.
He thinks that Gary needs more shots upside his head. This cowboy hates when you don't believe in achievement. Well, they call him One Punch Brigga. The moon landing was free. They call him One Punch Brigga. His claim is not too dirty. One Punch Brigga. Hated jokes is like his ass. One Punch Brigga. Doesn't know they need done.
For those who missed yesterday's show, the return of JJ, fireworks. Really fireworks on both shows. But I love Dave Brigga and his passion. Hell yeah, Dave. Let's go. Hit the jet chant for Dave Brigga. Outstanding. Outstanding. Hey, a couple gifted memberships. I'm counting the names. We're going to raffle away 3 signed items shortly here. Martin helmet, Wilson jersey, Testaverde jersey. Seth Martinez has gifted a channel membership, but not just one. How about a 5 spot from Seth? Seth, let's go. This is for you. Well done, Seth. Here are the 5 people who got a membership from Seth Martinez. James Fustel, Tamp 2-time, Matthew Lloyd, Amtaj, and Fit for Life, all receiving a gifted membership. We have more. How about Ted Ruggiero in the raffle by gifting 5 memberships? Let's go.
It's up to you, New York, New York.
Here we go. Yainir Rivera, Dennis Hora, James Kirkbridge, Wami God, and Lucky AJF, all receiving a membership there from Ted. Ted, you're in the raffle. Reminder, if you gift, you're also in the raffle next week. I like the idea of doing raffles on Saturdays because I like the Saturday time slot here in the off season. So we'll do the raffle next Saturday on a show. Breece Hall, signed helmet. Actually, you know what? I think I'm working next Saturday. So TBD, probably either Friday or I might do a Sunday show. I'm doing radio. I think it's next Saturday morning. I got to check that. Darrell Rivas signed helmet and a Joe Namath signed helmet. Those are the top prizes in the raffle already for next week. Ted, thank you. I got you down. Abu Dhabi checking in. Got to meet Abu Dhabi in London for the Jet game a couple years back. Dave Brigga and Demario Davis, the OGs. I'll tell you what, if the Jets had the mentality that Dave Brigga has, this team would be in the playoffs every year competing for championships. All right. We need more players with the attitude of Dave Brigga and Demario Davis. Hell to the yeah. Well said. That's what we need. You want to play to win? That's what you need.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Let's go. You know what? Here's what I want to do. I'm gifting a membership and I'm giving it to Dave Brigga. This is for Dave Brigga. All right. I'm gifting a membership and this is going to Dave. All right. 1 membership that I'm gifting and I'm making sure it goes to One Punch Dave Brigga in our raffle. Let's go, Dave. This is for you. I believe in achievement. I believe in Brigga.
The Jet fans getting a little crazy.
Funky Monk, you received the channel membership from me, but Dave Brigga's the one who's going in the raffle, baby. Love that. Appreciate everyone tuned in here on a Saturday. Weather's great in the New York area, so hopefully you're enjoying it. Let's go back to Jiggy the Jet Man, who doesn't even know he's on the air. Jiggy! God. What are we doing, Jig? Now we can't even see you. Big guy, 0725 in the raffle for 1.
I'm putting icy hot on my back. This will take off the pain and the blemishes.
Hell, stop.
What a moment the show has provided us with this week. Moments, I should say. Unbelievable. All right, I'm finalizing our raffle names here. We're at just about the 2-hour mark. So I'm going to get those names ready for the Asmaniac weekly raffle. But for those of you who have missed some of the madness on the show this week, take a step back and enjoy some craziness, including a time where Beast decided to head to his favorite new place, Chick-fil-A. Ladies and gentlemen, have no fear. The Beast is here.
La Puerta Negra.
There you go.
Chick-fil-A. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How you guys doing today? Good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the grand jury, let's get the number one Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich.
Are you gonna do it as a meal?
Hell yeah! That's Dr. Jason Allen Storm. The old-fashioned Dr. Good old Dr. Pepper. That's man streak.
All right, 1062 is our.
Don't worry, I'll
today.
take good care of you. Give me a second here, too.
Did you want any Chick-fil-A sauce barbecue?
Buffalo.
Buffalo sauce? How much?
That's the man sauce. Every other sauce, that's a little too weak for me. That's not good enough.
So just one buffalo sauce?
Hell yeah, that's a man sauce. Don't you guys got like a little thing here where I could maybe put a tip in?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, damn.
Jake West said if Beast would have had this call yesterday, I would have voted for him. Barbarossa, why didn't he do this yesterday? This was a call that would have won you a Asmaniac Madness round. Beast, how much was it?
1086. Oh, that's it? Holy crap, that's fast. That's what I call service. Yesterday was not in the best of moods because it was too cold. And plus that win yesterday was nuts.
Hey, Beast, check your Venmo.
Holy.
1086. Hey, check your Venmo. You just got paid $10.
I will.
Listen, I book comedians for a living. I don't think there's someone funnier than Beast that I've ever met in my life. I mean, he is unbelievable. So, Jake, this is what I want to do. When you do the Asmaniac meetup, I am going to fly Beast home there. I'm paying for the flight. As long as he comes, I'm buying that flight. We got to get him to MetLife. Whatever town, I don't care if it's Australia, wherever you do it, I am flying Beast in. This guy just has to meet the rest of the fans. I know so many people that watch the show that just want to meet Beast. They're like, they don't care about anything else except Beast. He is hilarious.
Don't put pickles on a damn chicken sandwich. That's annoying. I'm not the pickle person. Here's the thing I like. Burgers, Gordon Ramsay way. Mayonnaise, top and bottom. Burger, cheese, bacon, lettuce.
1 of 1, folks. 1 of 1. And Lou B, that offer's tremendous. It's just a matter of, can we actually get Beast out of the attic for an Asmaniac meetup? Our next meetup is the draft party, and then I'm going to be putting together a baseball outing as well. I've been focused on some of the other projects I have coming on, like the new Jets Collective show on Tuesday, but we do have our draft party April 23rd in Pittsburgh. Can't wait to be there. Be doing the show from there during the day, and then at night after the Jets make their picks. Let's go, man. Let's go. It is all happening. All right. Let's declare a winner in Asmaniac Madness before we get to the raffle of greatness. And no surprise here, it's the champ, Mr. Bonesy, who is advancing to the round of 32. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Mr. Bonesy, who defeats Michael Levinson, who had a great call earlier. Prison Mike, as we know him on this show. But Bonesy's the winner, 82-18 with 327 votes that were cast. Congrats to Bones on the achievement. He's moving on to the next round. So here's your look at the bracket. Bonesy will face Lou B in the round of 32. Monday morning on the show, it's Barbarossa, it's Jets Jesus head-to-head in the 7 versus 10. Monday afternoon on the show, it's Black Gypsy and Coach Oglick head-to-head, which means Tuesday we start our final region in the opening round, field of 64, the grown-ass man region. We'll get started Tuesday a.m. with Gorman and Robert C. and Sean versus Andrew C. Tuesday afternoon. Incredible. Andrew C. says, I've recently looked at Nick Shine in the Gorman rap video. Nick has really lost weight. Nick looks great. He has lost a ton of weight. And that video is still an all-time classic from 2 summers ago. Cisco says, will I get my answer today, Beast? Are you going to accept Lou B's offer? Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring on the Beast to get an answer and, of course, to send us to our weekly Asmaniac Raffle.
La Puerta Negra. I got to get a list of babysitters because if I'm out of town, I'm going to need a babysitter, and it has to also follow the schedule. And I know how the schedule works. 7:20, 7:30, he gets up for his rub. Give him his stairs, and 4 times on the stairs, then on the bed. And then after that, let him rest for a couple hours. Then again, 12:30, again, more rubbing, more exercise for him, and fresh lettuce. But it can't, no iceberg. It has to be romaine.
What
Only
about one of your associates or your mom? They can't watch little Joey for a weekend?
lately? My mom's slipping into dementia. Yeah. Well, when you get older, some people slip into dementia. But let's see what happens first. One day at a time. We put our pants on one leg at a time. For some people, they want to be stupid. Okay, that's fine with me. That's fine. You know, you think I'm gonna bitch and complain? No. But if I can't make it, I will say this only once. I will be there, but I will be there in spirit no matter what anybody says. I don't care what people think of me. At the end of the day, 99.9%, I'm still one tough son of a bitch because I play hard and I play fair. I don't cheat. Cheating is for for cowards. You want to cheat? That's fine. That's on you. That's your life. You want to be dumb? Go be dumb. But if you don't know how to play the game, get off the table. Example, master lock right here. My little master lock right here. Still know how to figure this thing out. Easy as a cake of pie. There you go. There's 20. Yeah, There's one way to do it. 1, 2.
So that's a no then.
And we'll see what happens. See how that opens? Nice. Just like.
Hey, KJ says there's a squirrel on the back of your head.
Does this sound like? Master lock, the best. And plus, I got to replace a lock on the gate because the other lock I have is rusted out. I have to take it next door, get it all refurbished. That's a no-brainer. So all I gotta do is replace it with this little bad boy right here, little combination lock. They're good they're good. I still like combination lock. And last night good thing I learned some driving last night. Learn how to do this 10 and 2, just like that. Not that hard, not hard. But there was one game that did kick my ass, and that's one of the Harley Davidson games. I was just like, what? Oh shit! I thought I was heaving all over the road. That's okay. That's fine. Are we ready for that Wheel of Champions? Are we ready to go?
Oh, I've been ready.
Now, let's bring in my closer. Hello, everybody. Howard Finkel here, reminding you it's time to spin the 2026 Wheel of Champions. And now, let's go to the wheel. Let's go to the wheel.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac Raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Well done, Beast. Whatever that was, exactly it worked. Here we are. It's time for the weekly raffle, folks. Big thank you to everyone who entered all week long. If you're new to the show, anyone who gifts a membership or sends in a super chat that qualifies, meets the $10 threshold, we put you in a raffle wheel. All the names. We give out daily prizes on the show, and then all the names are tallied up for the big prizes, the weekly prizes, which is either Friday or Saturday on our show. Here we go. We got 3 items to raffle away today. 3 great prizes. If you win, here's all you have to do if you're a winner. AsmanJake@gmail.com. You send me an email with your name and address so we know where to order your winning raffle prize to. All right? AsmanJake@gmail.com. If you forget, it's in the description, so it's very easy to find. Good luck to everyone. But only 3 Asmaniacs can win, and you can only win 1 prize per weekly raffle. Here we go. Prize number 1 is a Vinny Testaverde signed jersey. Let's spin the Wheel of Champions and determine who's going to come away with the prize. The winner of our first prize this week is Andrew C. The Dream. Andrew C. Well deserved, Andrew. Great support this week with all your entries. So the Dream is getting a Vinny T autographed jersey. Fantastic. Okay. Who's going to get our second prize this week? A signed Garrett Wilson jersey. Only one can win. And the winner is... Luppy. How about that? Luppy is a winner this week. He's on a roll. Birthday, Asmaniac Madness win. I think he won. Was it a Kevin Mawai signed jersey too? Or it was a prize earlier this week. I got to look. But Luppy, a big time winner this week. Luppy, a Garrett Wilson jersey. Fantastic. That means we got one prize left, folks. An item signed by Hall of Famer Curtis Martin. A Jets helmet signed by Curtis Martin. Ladies and gentlemen, one final spin this week. The winner is... Oh, no, you guys can't see the wheel. There it is. It's Anthony Lozerato. Anthony is the winner. You guys could hear the wheel. You couldn't see it to the very end. Congratulations to Anthony Lozerato, longtime viewer of the show. Congratulations to Anthony. He's won a ton. He's got some great raffle luck, but he deserves it. Awesome Jet fan. Shout out to Roseanne, who's a regular listener as well, Anthony's daughter. Appreciate everyone who tuned in. Again, our 3 winners. Congratulations to Andrew C. with the Vinny T jersey, to Luppy with the Garrett Wilson jersey, and to Anthony Lozerato with the Curtis Martin helmet. You guys are awesome. Thank you for your support. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, perhaps join the Patreon as well. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Hit the Jet chant for the winner. I'm going to post the link to the Patreon for those of you who want to keep the convo rolling in the Discord. That's how you get access to it. You got to join the Patreon first. It's patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Everyone enjoy their weekend. Everyone enjoy the NCAA tournament. Asmaniac Madness will pick back up on Monday. I'll be dropping some videos on the channel later today and tomorrow to keep you guys busy, even if we're not live, unless there's some breaking news over the weekend. Andrew C. with the final word. He says, Glenn, you play the game to win. He did say that. He did say that. And Andrew C. is, in fact, a winner. So congrats to him on his prize. All right. That does it for me. Thank you to everyone for their outstanding support. We couldn't do it without you. As always, JETS, 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 Jets. And in honor of the dream winning a raffle prize, how about we take you back to the first ever call the dream Andrew C. made in the history of this show. The dream is up next. I don't recognize the dream here.
This is Andrew C. Yeah.
Oh, what's up, Andrew? Okay. You go by the name The Dream?
No, I didn't know. Somebody told me to type something in. Here I am. I'm very nervous. My first call. Yeah.
Don't be nervous.
Can I also tell you something? I want to be part of the Asmaniac.
You're doing a great job, man. I could see you being a regular on this program.
I would like to be.
Now, The Dream, have you had any alcoholic beverages this morning?
Absolutely.
I could tell.
Yeah.
What did you drink?
A Sailor Jerry rum.
Really? What time did you start opening that bottle?
I drink heavily on the weekends, but during the week, my job, I can't drink during the week.
So the weekend has started for you, I take it.
Call me Andrew. That's my name. Not The Dream.
I just changed it for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You're so good like that.
You're Andrew C., not The Dream now.
Yeah, I have a dog. Pitbull. He's part of the team, too. He has a Jet jersey.
That's awesome.
Found
What's your dog's name?
Happy.
Happy?
I didn't name him. I got him from the pound, I was like, I live in Jacksonville, Florida right now. I'm an Asmaniac, man.
Well, Andrew, I'll tell you what. This was an all-time great first call. You called in. Called back
boy,
for
he
it,
found a squirrel.
Is your dog going after the squirrel?
Yeah, Andrew C. Yeah. All right, so, yes. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I love, and oh my God, yeah, my first call. I hope to call further, yeah.
Please call further. Ladies and gentlemen, If Andrew C becomes a regular, welcome to the tournament next March.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.